I know I look a little crusty, but we are not about that. You know, at one point I thought this Guabini person did not exist because the amount of lies that Sizwe Zungu was telling on the stand about accused number one and accused number two, in fact, all five of them, was absolutely amazing to me. And the part that really took the cake for me was when he lied on the stand that his statements, some of them he had written them by hand and he had left them back home in KwaZulu Natal. And then Judge Rata makes an order that he should be escorted by the police because we don't know if he's safe, basically throwing shade at the five people that are accused of unaliving Senzo Mayo in 2014. Then this happened on a Friday, and then the order said when we come back on Monday, you are going to produce these handwritten statements that you took from accused number, from whatever it was at the time. This was 2023 in September, if I'm not mistaken, when he took the stand. And then comes Monday. Already some of us remember this case was de novo in July of 2023, and already we were beginning to see good. I know something ain't right, but we can't put our fingers on it just yet. But Judge Rata helped us to actually have something to hold on to, and then that's when we realized that this trial is an unfair trial. You know why we were saying it's an unfair trial? I'm talking about the clan. Because Judge Rata on Monday, when he's supposed to have heard the results of his order to for Siswa Zungu to go home in Kwanangoma, comes back with the handwritten statements so that it can be read in court as to strengthen the state's case. But Judge Rata already had a judgment. And he read that judgment and he was drinking water, almost like shaking profusely. He was drinking water because I'm not quite sure what he was thinking. But now, in hindsight, not even in hindsight, at that point we were like, but sir, you were supposed to hear this for the first time. Because when Monday came, the state prosecutor, which is Advocate Baloy, then informs the court that well, they did go to KwaZulu Natal to go fetch these handwritten statements. But when Zungu got home, he discovered or he found that his room where he keeps most of his things like documents and all that stuff, they had done a spring cleaning and they threw away those handwritten statements. And in my head, I'm like, but Judge Rata, wouldn't that be some kind of a crime where family members are touching state property and actually discard of it? But we are not there because Judge Rata would have said, don't answer that question, you'll be self-incriminating and including your family members. But he already knew. How did Judge Rata know when he returned on Monday with the rest of us following this trial that Zungu, when he went home, he did not find his handwritten statements? Now, the whole story revolves around the man now on the stand by the name of Sifiso Zungu. So they are related, like blood related, Sifiso Zungu and Sizwe Zungu. And Sizwe Zungu made reference of Ukwabeni as we've known him, that Gwabeni, who is now on the stand, made a call on the 26th of October 2014 to Gwabeni called Sizwe Zungu to ask him to come and hang out in Vosloorus. And then Sifiso, who is now on the stand, says that never happened. It's a lie. And then he told us this elaborate story about when he got to Vosloorus and he met now these five men that are now accused of unaliving Senzo Mewa. Kwabini says, all a lie. Everything that Sizwe Zungu said was a lie. I mean, we've always known this. The clan has always known this, that this is a lie that this man is telling on the stand. And the question was, why? Oh, because he wants to be promoted. If you are listening to the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, the people that seem to be corrupt, and I'm talking the law enforcement agents that are being mentioned in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, they all have one common denominator: promotion. You lie, you are corrupt, you do all the wrong things, you get a promotion. Now, we understand that Sizwe Zungu, who has been a constable for the past 13 years, probably was sick and tired of being a constable. So, in order for him to get the promotion, he needed to throw his own father into the mix of lies to destroy the lives of other people. Not only did he do that, he also did the same thing to his own cousin. Well, in the Zulu culture, these are brothers. These are brothers. You throw your brother and your father to the wilderness to be eaten by lions, all for a promotion. What kind of a heartlessness is this? I would like to know. So things are playing out in court, and they are turning out to be exactly the way we have predicted them. And now it's also making sense why Advocate Baloyi did not call the person that made a call to the star witness, which is Sizwe Zungu, on the stand to collaborate this story, corroborate, in Mr. Gininda's voice and accent. He did not do that. Why? Because is it possible that Advocate Baloyi himself knew this was nothing but a fabrication? And now he's cross-examining Gwabini or Sifiso Zungu, and is making him feel like confusing him, basically. He's actually confusing the witness that you are mine, you belong to the state. But Sifiso, he's not having it. He will not be put in this mess because of a cousin of his that wants to be promoted on a lie to destroy the lives, especially of accused number 1 and 2. 3, 4, and 5, they are not guilty of this case. They are serving sentences of crimes that they've committed, and they deserve that as far as I'm concerned. But Bongani Ntanzi, as well as Musa Sibiya, I am crying for them. I am crying for them, and I hope when they do get out of this, they go into the pocket and pension fund of all these people, including Advocate Baloyi. Advocate Baloyi cannot say, I was just doing my job. He cannot say, I was just doing my job. Because I think and I suspect he knew this very well, it was a fabrication. Sue them before you sue the state. Sue these people. I'm talking to you, Bongani Ntanzi, as well as Musa Sibiya. Sue the living pens out of them so that this culture that Gininda and them were trying to create in smearing cases of crimes that people did not commit stops. Go for their pension. I'm talking Gininda, I'm talking Advocate Baloyi, Sizwe Zungu, all the witnesses that took the stand, including Zandile Khumalo, who pointed at Ntanzi and said, you remember that? Sue the living pens out of her. Sue them all. Sue them all. Because, hey, let's be honest, this case has collapsed. It collapsed a long time ago. If there's a confirmation of a case that fell flat on its face, is what happened in court with Sifiso Zungu. Sifiso Zungu buried the state's case. Buried. And it's going to be quite interesting with our own suspicions that we already have that the judgment is ready to be delivered. and it's guilty as charged. I will not be surprised. But Sfiso Zungu, one of the star characters in this lie, said it was all a lie. That is not true. That is not true. And now he feels a little threatened about perjury. Gladly, it was explained to him what perjury is, and he knows that he is saying all these things with a clear conscience, and I believe him. I believe him. And I'm sure many of us who have seen through this lie believe him too. I mean, the clan has been through a lot with some people who were calling us all kinds of names. Some of them were trying to psychoanalyze us as if they are some kind of psychologist and psychiatrist. I hope the egg on your face smells great. As a matter of fact, why don't you use it as a moisturizer? Because here it is. It's quite clear as well. I'm not a psychologist either. If I can take a jab at psychoanalysis, you need help. Because here is the truth. The truth is coming out. And one of the star characters in this script says, that's not true. That's not true. I'm not going to talk about the entire cross-examination, the lead and the cross-examination of this witness, because it's stuff that we already knew. We already knew this. And we've been saying this trial is an unfair trial. We've been saying this. And here it is now. So what happens going forward? Doesn't Judge Rata has the discretion of the court to call this off finally? Or he's still going to harden his neck until all the witnesses of the defense are cleared, like finished? Because this is a cue for this judge to say, well, we put an end to this trial. And then send Ntanzi and Sibiya home so they can start preparing their lawsuits. They still have a long way to go. And I think the state is going to settle out of court. And I hope you're not going to take peanuts. They ruined you. They took you away from your children. They took away your dignity. Something that you're going to have to fight for the rest of your life, even though you have been acquitted. Because you know how you always find those people say, an acquittal doesn't mean you are not guilty. They are going to have that dark cloud hanging over them for the rest of their lives. So don't settle for 2 million rand, for 3 million rand and think it, kuyabiza la ngaphandle, izinto ziyabiza. Izinto ziyabiza. When just think about where you could be in life right now. Because people's luck is different, just like the bad luck that crept in. In Zulu we say, that's what happened to these two. So what if your luck was the opposite? Had you not been in this situation, where would you be in life? Where would you be? Don't go for anything less than 100 million rand each. But all these other ones, Bob Geninda, Advocate Baloyi, the witnesses, go for their pension, hit them hard, take everything they've got, so that other police officers learn a lesson. You were tortured, tubed, almost unalived. All of those things need to count. All of those things need to count. I know you can't touch Judge Rata. I mean, he's a judge in this country. So, as I have always said, from what I've heard, judges in these countries, you can't sue them. But at least his conscience will always be darker. And as for the Kumalos, go for them too. Go for them, Togozisi, go for all of them. Go for Boma Piri, you name them. Take them to court. Ziyabiza izinto ngaphandle. And umsebenzi, it's going to be very, very limited because of that part of acquittal where people say it was not and not guilty. So that is just my 2 cents on this one. My 2 IQs. We need to support them on this lawsuit. No out-of-court settlement, because if you settle out of court, you are going to be robbed. Berkshire with a single-digit million. We're going for 100. That's what we say. Well, the clan supports you, so you are part of the clan. So yes, we're going for 100 million rand with the state for malicious prosecution. As for the other ones, wipe them clean. Take them to the laundromat. Take them to the laundromat. No apologies. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. Sfiso Zungu, well done. Thank you for finally relieving. You see, I'm even getting tongue-tied because I'm excited about what I was witnessing. I didn't see the whole thing during the day, so I'm only doing it like I've been watching for the past 2 hours or so, like the replay, and I'm like, good. Finally, there's justice for Sibiya as well as Ntanzi. And then the other guys as well. I'm seeing an acquittal. That's what I'm saying. But when is this acquittal going to come? I don't know. But an acquittal, this does force the court to acquit. It forces the court to acquit this unfair trial, this malicious trial. Go after the people that were with Senzo Meyiwa on the 14th of October 2026. One of them will crack, and that one is going to tell the truth. Who pulled the trigger? Anyways, I will leave this video right here before I get all worked up, and I will see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.